very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1 live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Jadabdi.
And I'm Shalini Ratnavira. Let's take a look at your top stories for tonight.
Colombo gears up amid soaring demand for India-Pakistan T20 clash. Hotels full, flights spike, special traffic plan for Sunday. Aragala activists demand action over May 9th assaults. Petitions challenging Deshabandhu's IGP appointment conclude in Supreme Court. Sri Lanka win T20 clash against Oman. Dasun Shanaka sets new record.
Half-century T20.
And on to those stories in detail. In your top story this evening, the India-Pakistan T20 encounter is scheduled to take place on the 15th of February at the R. Premadasa Cricket Stadium in Colombo. This is a review of the preparations for the highly anticipated clash.
We're in the Big Apple. It's India versus Pakistan. And coming up, box office, one of the biggest contests in all of sport.
After massive uncertainty enveloped the much-awaited India-Pakistan fixture of the ICC T20 World Cup, cricket fans across the world will have the opportunity this coming Sunday to witness the action of an India-Pakistan cricket match. Now, India and Pakistan face each other on the cricket field only during major tournaments like a World Cup. That is exactly why this match draws so much attention. For us, as Sri Lankans, this match is extremely significant as it is a highly contested game between the two nations. Besides that, what else makes this India-Pakistan match so significant? The controversy that threatened the match between India and Pakistan in the T20 World Cup was resolved following a telephone conversation between President Aragala Dissanayake and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Following several rounds of lengthy discussions, all arrangements are now in place for the India-Pakistan cricket match. India and Pakistan last met in a World Cup tournament on the 9th of June in 2024. That match, played at Nassau County International Cricket Stadium in the United States, was attended by 34,028 spectators. It remains the highest turnout for an international cricket match ever held in the United States. In the T20 format, these two teams last met during the previous Asia Cup. The two sides faced each other 3 times during that tournament, and the Asia Cup final was also contested between India and Pakistan. Records show that over 28,000 people attended that final held at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. The much-anticipated India-Pakistan fixture of the T20 World Cup will be hosted at the R. Premadasa Cricket Stadium in Colombo. The maximum spectator capacity of the R. Premadasa Stadium is only 35,000. All tickets released for this match via the ICC website have already sold out. However, it is noteworthy that there have been over 88,000 requests for tickets to watch this India-Pakistan match. Now, against this backdrop, airfares from India to Sri Lanka have also skyrocketed in run-up to this match. Air India ticket prices for flights from New Delhi to the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake between 13th of February and the 16th of February range from 76,000 Indian rupees to 100,000 Indian rupees. Normally, these tickets were priced at approximately 15,000 Indian rupees. It is also significant that ticket prices for Indigo and Sri Lankan Airlines operating between New Delhi and Katunayake between the 13th to the 16th of February are also priced between 60,000 and 111,644 Indian rupees. Hotel prices in and around Colombo have also more than doubled at this time. According to reports, many leading hotels in Colombo are providing facilities for a single night at rates exceeding 100,000 Indian rupees. This amounts to more than 340,000 rupees in Sri Lankan rupees. It is no secret that this match is significantly increasing tourist attraction to Sri Lanka and bringing in more foreign currency into the country. There is no need to tell you what the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo will look like on the 15th. A massive crowd is expected to flock to the stadium to watch this match. Now, a special security plan has already been implemented for those spectators.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the gates are open for public by 1500 hours, that is to say at 3 p.m. So we request the public or the spectators and the cricket lovers, if possible, try to make it early as possible. Well, we would wish to direct you on some of the car parks. You are quite aware of these car parks. I will just tell you the car parks. Now you know the Grand Pass Mati Park, you call the Mati Park, and then the Satosa car park is ready for you, and also the Sebastian Ella car park is ready for you, and the Kovila Road car park, and also the very much popular the Appalwatta car park, and also the both sides of Adi CA Para is ready for all vehicles that who are coming to visit this match. And then we would wish to say that a special arrangement have been made by the organizing committee, and also the committee will keep you updated on a special shuttle service that would operate from both MOD car park and the port city. And also just a gentle reminder to those vehicles or those who carry the vehicle passes that have been issued by the Sri Lanka Cricket Board could also enter via the Kettarama Junction and also via Wilson Perra Mavata to both gate 1 and 2 who are in possession of the traffic, who are in possession of car passes that have been issued by the Sri Lanka Cricket Board. And also, ladies and gentlemen, for better smooth of the traffic flow, we have introduced the following roads to be limited for traffic. That is to say, if a vehicle, that is to say, entry towards Babapulle junction of Vincent Perra Mavata via Brito Babapulle Bridge Road are temporarily limited for traffic movement. And also entry towards the stadium from the vicinity of Babapulle Bridge also controlled. And entry towards the stadium from Sebastian Ella via Malvata Road also temporarily restricted. And entry towards the stadium from the junction of Adi Siapara and the Temple Road are also temporarily limited. And also entry towards the stadium from the side road near Maligavatale, that is you call the stadium road, is also temporarily controlled. The entry towards the stadium from the junction of Sadharma Mavata and Temple Road, that is to say Kettarama Road, is also temporarily controlled.
What is the government's preparation for the India-Pakistan match that has captured the attention of cricket fans worldwide? Here are the views expressed by Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa.
As a country, we intervened. Our President, our Defence Secretary intervened, and we were able to host the India-Pakistan match in Sri Lanka. We have accepted responsibility for hosting this match. The police and the Ministry of Defence are coordinating the security arrangements for the match.
As a country, we are ready for the India-Pakistan match. The players are ready as well. Now, all that's left is to watch the game. How will the result of this match, which the whole world is waiting for, unfold starting from 7 p.m. on the 15th? Everyone will be watching at the edge of their seat.
This is more than just a cricket match. It's time for India versus Pakistan, the greatest rivalry.
Activists of the Aragala protest are questioning why legal action against those who attacked the general public who protested during the Aragala are stalled, while cases against the protesters are proceeding swiftly. They emphasized that the current government should act on these cases in the same manner it had promised during the Aragala before coming to power.
Several activists of the Golfes Aragala protests held a joint media briefing in Colombo today. During the briefing, they shared their views on several developments, including yesterday's High Court judgment sentencing 12 people to death in connection with the assassination of former People's Front MP Amarakirti Attukorala and his security officer. Attorney at law Nuwan Bopage, an activist of the People's Struggle, expressed these views.
The violent incidents that erupted across the country are the direct results of the attacks of the Aragala protesters by Mahinda Rajapaksa, Chamal Rajapaksa, Namal Rajapaksa, Johnston and many others. These incidents happened because of the attack on the Aragala protesters. No other incidents of violence that are not connected to this initial attack on the Aragala occurred spontaneously elsewhere in the country. The situation in Nitambua is exceptional. We know that during the attack on the Aragala protesters, all the protesters present at that time were in danger of being killed because of the thugs of the government. Everyone there was attacked. We know that Anuranga was assaulted so much that he had to get 20 stitches on his head. Had the people from nearby officers and port not intervened during the attack, most of us here would have lost our lives by now. In reality, around 100 trial at bars would have had to be constituted. Even though this happened, no ordinary protester killed any member of the public. No murders occurred. The Nitambua incident is special because a police officer of the Member of Parliament there fired at the people present. One young person there died and 2 others were injured. The incident occurred amid extreme tension and chaos. If anyone is ready to say that these protesters were brutal, we say it is the Pohottua that was brutal. Through this, an argument is being constructed to suggest that these individuals lack adequate protection. This was created by a group of protesters. People are now under pressure. The protesters are under pressure. Not us. We say this is not true. For every protester, all of us associated with the Aragala have stood openly without any conditions. We act to ensure justice for them. This government came into power as a result of the Aragala. They are treating justice as it is. In reality, we follow the law and the Attorney General's direction for everything. If the government says that they do not go outside of the law, we say that the 2022 Aragala was not about the law. It was about justice. At that time, an executive president could not be removed by a protest if only the law is considered. If only the law applied, the Golface site could not have been seized. There, it was not the law. It was a struggle for justice. The Aragala was a fight for justice. If the government tries to evade this by saying that they will not interfere with the judiciary, that is wrong. In matters of justice, the government must intervene. How should it intervene? The cases related to the attacks on the Aragala protest at Golface have been sitting in the Fort Magistrates Court for days without progress. The Attorney General has not appeared. Sanat Nishanta, Johnston, Namal Rajapaksa and Saman Lal are not being named as accused. Trials aren't being conducted expeditiously against them. A trial at bar is not being constituted for these cases, and these cases are not being conducted expeditiously. Initially, Ayesha Jinasena of the Attorney General's Department appeared, but now no one is appearing. The case is not moving. Then where is justice? In the Nitambua case, a new concept was introduced, facial recognition. Now we ask, is facial recognition needed to identify those who attacked the Aragala protesters at Golface? There is already complete photo and video evidence. Where is justice for that?
Reverend Father Jivanta Piris, a prominent activist of the Aragala, also spoke at the media briefing.
We demand to know who truly orchestrated the violence and killings. It was the Rajapaksa Ranil junta, yet they remain at large. We urge the authorities to stop hunting and suppressing the people who participated in the Aragala. Instead, bring to justice the masterminds, including the Rajapaksas, Ranil and the Inspector General of Police, who incited this violence. We vow to continue our peaceful struggle relentlessly until justice is served. 8 lives were lost during the Aragala due to tear gas, canisters and shootings. Yet there is no discussion or intervention from the Attorney General regarding those cases. When Venerable Siridhammathera and I were wrongfully detained under the PTA, the Magistrate Court ruled it was based on fabricated evidence. However, our fundamental rights petitions in the Supreme Court has only only been called twice in 4 years. The Attorney General shows no urgency here, nor is there any interest in the abduction and threats we faced. We tell the National People's Power that while the statement "law is equal" is a fine sentiment, it must be demonstrably applied across all legal proceedings.
Lawyers for Truth and Justice, convening a media briefing, made the following remarks.
We have three main proposals for the government. First, there are 32 cases linked to the Aragala protest at Golface. Excluding cases related to the entry into the Presidential Secretariat, the Prime Minister's office, and temple trees, the remaining cases involve public demonstrations. These include charges like acting against police orders and obstructing police duties. We urge the government to remove these 32 cases on the basis that they are part of public protests through a general policy decision. Secondly, there are over 2,500 people implicated in regional cases or other incidents. These lists were submitted by local politicians, and now 4 years later, travel bans and restrictions are still in place. Many of these people cannot travel abroad or obtain police reports for employment. The government must intervene in this matter. Third, all cases related to public protests and unlawful assemblies should be dismissed. If this is not possible under current law, a general policy decision should be issued to ensure their removal. This would leave only cases with direct evidence of crimes at the scene, including arson, vandalism or other provable offences, which must still be processed. Those cases must be concluded expeditiously. These proposals are presented clearly to the government. Enough time has been wasted. The President can do this. We trust that the President, who visited the protest site on the 9th of May and pledged to support the protesters, will honour that commitment. It is the government's responsibility to ensure fair intervention regarding these Aragala-related cases. These boys and girls, these citizens engaged in the Aragala to change this system. There is a responsibility to make a meaningful intervention regarding these cases connected to the Aragala. As lawyers, we oppose any destruction of property or loss of life. However, the individuals responsible for putting people at the protest site have not been punished. We understand that the former IGP will now face charges for actions against the Aragala protest. Starting from the IGP, many others too created unrest in the country because the Rajapaksas wanted that unrest at the time, as they wanted to hold on to power. An innocent politician from their own camp had to pay the ultimate price in the end. The responsibility for that killing must be attributed to those who incited violence, set fires or attacked the protest, and those who sent people into the protest site with poles. We know that some of the people who did those things are no longer alive. We don't know if that is karma or nature just taking its course. This is not a matter to be downplayed politically. The government has a duty to investigate and intervene in the Aragala-related cases. We, as a group of lawyers, are in constant dialogue with the government. The actions taken appear to be quite lax.
The cross-examination on the case against 25 suspects remanded over the Easter Sunday suicide bombings was carried out by the accused themselves during the ongoing evidence examination. The case filed against 25 individuals detained under the Prevention of Terrorism Act was taken up again before the Permanent High Court trial at bar in Colombo.
The bench comprises judges Navaratna Marasinghe, Sujiva Nishanka and Ramanathan Kannan, and from yesterday the trial has been scheduled for daily hearings. Today the court recorded the testimony of Senior Superintendent of Police Kavinda Piyasena, who had documented a statement given by the fourth accused, Mohammed Ibrahim Sahid Abdullah Haq, while the accused was in custody under the PTA. The evidence was led by a team of lawyers representing the prosecution under Senior Deputy Solicitor General Sudarshana Silva. The fourth accused, identified as Mohammed Ibrahim Shahid Abdullah Haq, informed court that he did not have legal representation and therefore began cross-examining the witness personally. During questioning, he asked the witness about matters related to promotions and appointments in the police service. The accused questioned the witness regarding whether he was among the officers who joined the Criminal Investigation Department following the transfers of officers such as Shani Abesekara after the November 2019 change of government. The witness confirmed this, stating yes. The accused then asked about the procedure for promotion from the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police to Senior Superintendent of Police. The witness explained that an ASP must complete 4 years of service along with other required qualifications. When asked how he had served as a police superintendent, the witness replied that he had held the position for 1 year before being promoted to SSP. He added that he and several other officers had faced delays in promotions and were later promoted following legal action. It was also revealed during testimony that the statement taken from the accused had been signed by the witness while serving as an SSP, and that the then director of the CID, W. Tilakaratne, under whom the statement was recorded, had previously served as a member of Mahinda Rajapaksa's personal security detail. The accused then attempted to question the witness about a letter sent by W. Tilakaratne instructing the recording of his statement. At this point, the court intervened, informing the accused that cross-examination cannot proceed without marking the relevant document. Although the accused sought permission to mark the document himself, the Attorney General's department objected. After considering the matter, the bench stated it would decide tomorrow whether the accused may personally mark the document during cross-examination. Accordingly, the court adjourned the trial until 10 a.m. tomorrow, pending the bench's decision.
The Supreme Court decided today to conclude the hearing of 9 fundamental rights petitions filed challenging the decision to appoint Deshabandhu Thennakoon to the post of Inspector General of Police. The Supreme Court reached this decision considering the steps already taken to remove Deshabandhu Thennakoon from office through a parliamentary resolution.
The petitions, filed by 9 parties, including His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith, the Archbishop of Colombo, and the Young Journalists Association, were considered before a 3-judge Supreme Court bench comprising Justices Preeti Padman Surasena, Achala Venkapuli, and Mahinda Samyawardana. President's Counsel Romesh De Silva, who previously represented Deshabandhu Thennakoon, informed the court that he would no longer be appearing for him and that the relevant proxy had been withdrawn. Attorney at Law Niranjan Arul Pragasam, appearing for the former Speaker, pointed out that Parliament has already taken steps to remove the respondent, Deshabandhu Thennakoon, from the post of Inspector General of Police. Accordingly, he stated that there is no further basis to maintain these petitions. At the moment, President's Counsel Jeffrey Alagaratnam, appearing for one of the petitioners, stated that as these cases involve highly important constitutional matters, his clients expect a verdict from the court regarding the issue. President's Counsel Shamil Pereira, appearing for the Cardinal, also stated that it is important to deliver a court verdict to prevent such unlawful acts from occurring in the future. Representing another group of petitioners, Attorney at Law Tisha Veeragoda pointed out that when the recommendation to appoint Deshabandhu Thennakoon as the IGP was submitted, the Speaker had cast his vote outside of the Constitutional Council meeting. He emphasized the importance of obtaining a judicial ruling regarding this unlawful act. Addressing the open court, Justice Preeti Padman Surasena pointed out that the respondent former IGP has now been ousted from office following a resolution passed by Parliament. Under such circumstances, the Justice remarked that hearing these cases further might be an exercise in futility. Meanwhile, Additional Solicitor General Nereen Pulle, appearing for the Attorney General, informed the court that the current President Anurakumar Dissanayake, who is named as a respondent in the petitions, had submitted an affidavit through his secretary on the 28th of January last year. In that affidavit, he stated that the procedure followed by the Constitutional Council in recommending Deshabandhu Thennakoon for the post of IGP was flawed. Considering these facts, the lawyers for the petitioners stated that they would agree to conclude the hearing of the petitions once the President's statement was recorded before the court. After recording the facts presented by the President and taking them into consideration, the 3-judge Supreme Court bench subsequently decided to conclude the hearing of the petitions.
Newsfirst with the people.
The Asian Development Bank has reaffirmed their long-term support for Sri Lanka. Now, these views were expressed when the newly appointed country director of the Asian Development Bank for Sri Lanka, Shannon Cowlin, met with President Anurakumar Dissanayake today.
The newly appointed country director of the Asian Development Bank for Sri Lanka, Shannon Carlin, met with the president at the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon. The new country director was officially introduced to the president by the regional director of the ADB. Shannon Carlin assured that the Asian Development Bank will provide continuous support for Sri Lanka's development process. She further noted that they expect to expand the existing relationship with Sri Lanka based on the strong partnership built over many years. During the meeting, the delegation expressed their satisfaction with the manner in which Sri Lanka has implemented ADB-funded programs and the efficiency of the institutional coordination process. The President's Media Division stated that the discussion also covered the government's program to speed up reforms and the recovery efforts following Cyclone Ditwa. During the meeting, the President said that the government's goal is to ensure that the economic progress achieved under the current administration reaches the people in a tangible way, particularly those in vulnerable areas. He also expressed his gratitude for the ADB's assistance in addressing the environmental challenges faced in the Central Highlands and mountainous regions. Future plans, including the ADB's proposed investments for the country, budgetary support and the scheduled visit of the ADB President to Sri Lanka in mid-2026 were also discussed during the meeting.
A member of the Colombo Municipal Council has been declared to have vacated her seat.
According to an extraordinary gazette published under Section 10A(1)(a) of the Local Authorities Elections Ordinance, Mohammed Buhari Fatima Sohara has ceased to hold office as a member of the Colombo Municipal Council, as she is no longer a member of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress. The announcement was made by Pumi Aragala, the returning officer of the Colombo Municipal Council.
The second phase of the LOLC Divisavya You, Me and Our Nation Social Welfare Program reached a successful conclusion today. This was marked by the completion of restoration work on 200 schools damaged by disasters.
The second phase of the LOLC Divisavya You, Me and Our Nation Social Welfare Program was operational for over a month, restoring 200 schools damaged by Cyclone Ditwa. Wattegama Central College in Kandy became the 200th school to be renovated. Its restored canteen was officially handed over to the students today. The event was attended by Education Secretary of the Central Province, Madhupani Piyasena, Divisional Secretary of Patadumbara, Sandamani Serasingha, Assistant District Secretary Indumini Manik Divara, Assistant District Secretary TPGL Pennakon, and the principals of several schools that benefited from the second phase of the LOLC Divisavya program.
This world is yours, go make it your own, but don't forget your name.
Chief Operating Officer of the LOLC Group, Kit Sirigunawardana, along with many officers from LOLC, also participated in the occasion. This is the principal of Wattegama Central College expressing his views.
An amount of 60 million has been invested in these 200 schools. Therefore, children, we must realize that this investment was made for you, for us. They invested 60 million to strengthen the future of the children of Sri Lanka. You must make a promise to yourself. You must protect these facilities and resources provided to you. They must be preserved for the children entering school in the future too. With that determination, work towards your sole objective.
The Chief Operating Officer of the LOLC Group also shared his thoughts at the gathering.
Today is a day of great pride for those of us working at the LOLC Group. As you know, Cyclone Ditwa caused extensive damage to schools. There was loss of life and property. Despite all these losses, the primary path for our school students to win at life is Sri Lanka's free education. LOLC came forward at this moment to provide strength to that cause. Through these benefits and the assistance provided, I hope you think, one day I will serve in one of the most prestigious institutions in Sri Lanka. I will become a person free of financial burden and debt. Children, if you take advantage of this helping hand and succeed in life, that is the expectation of the senior management of the LOLC group through these operations.
The LOLC social welfare program is truly for our own people of Sri Lanka. The 47th anniversary of the victory of the Islamic Revolution of Iran was commemorated in Colombo with a grand National Day celebration. The event was organized by the Embassy of the Islamic Republic of Iran in Sri Lanka.
The Islamic Republic of Iran marked 47 years since the victory of its historic Islamic Revolution led by Imam Khomeini at a special ceremony held in Colombo yesterday. Several distinguished guests attended the celebration, including former presidents of Sri Lanka, former parliamentary leaders, senior government ministers, provincial governors and the commanders of the Sri Lanka Tri-Forces. The diplomatic community was also invited to join the celebrations with ambassadors and high commissioners from India, Turkey, Russia, South Korea, Indonesia and several other countries in attendance. Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa graced the event as the chief guest. Ambassador Dr. Alireza Dilkosh highlighted the strong and friendly relations between Iran and Sri Lanka.
Iran and Sri Lanka share long-standing historical and civilization ties that date back thousands of years. These relations are grounded in cultural and civilization affinity and over time have consistently progressed along a path of constructive engagement and mutual understanding shaped by political and economic developments. Although formal diplomatic relations between the two countries have existed for less than 6 decades, the underlying ethos of those relations has always been based on mutual respect, economic and political cooperation, and positive engagement at both bilateral and multilateral levels. In this context, the Islamic Republic of Iran affirms its full readiness to strengthen technological, industrial, and economic cooperation and to establish frameworks for collaboration with Sri Lanka in areas such as trade, investment, energy, agriculture, and science. Iran believes that expanding this partnership can foster innovation, joint projects, boost employment, and promote sustainable economic growth in both countries. By continuing along this path, the two nations will not only preserve their historical bonds and long-standing friendship, but also elevate their collaboration in science and industry to a new influential level in the region and globally.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, speaking on behalf of the Sri Lankan government, reaffirmed Sri Lanka's commitment to strengthening bilateral cooperation with Iran in the areas of diplomacy, culture and development.
Iran has consistently stood by Sri Lanka as a reliable friend, particularly during our most difficult chapters, be it conflict, the tsunami, the pandemic and economic stabilization. The fruits of our collaboration are visible across Sri Lanka. In this regard, we recall with appreciation the inauguration of the Umayyad Multipurpose Development Project. This landmark achievement, realized through Iranian engineering and financial partnership, is a testament to what our two nations can achieve. It provides not just 120 megawatt of clean energy to our grid, but also life-sustaining water to the farming heartlands of the southeast. We look forward to exploring further partnerships in power generation, refinery modernization, and sustainable management of water resources. The T4 oil barter agreement has proven that our nations are capable of innovative problem solving to overcome global logistical challenges. Sri Lanka sees immense potential in the reciprocal exchange of Iranian petrochemicals, fertilizers, and bitumen, which are vital for Sri Lanka's construction and agriculture sectors. Sri Lanka deeply appreciates the long-standing and time-tested nature of our relationship. It is a friendship built on the principle of mutual well-being, fueled by the warmth of our people. In a world of shifting geopolitical tides, the partnership between Colombo and Tehran remains a constant of stability and friendship.
A ceremonial cake cutting marked the anniversary celebrations along with the Iran-Sri Lanka diplomatic relations. Guests were also treated to a cultural exhibition showcasing Iranian paintings, traditional books, ornaments and art reflecting Iran's rich history and heritage.
DVV International South Asia was officially inaugurated today at a ceremonial event held in Colombo under the theme Building Pathways for Lifelong Learning.
DVV International South Asia was officially inaugurated today. DVV International's South Asia office aims to expand access to lifelong learning, promote adult education and strengthen vocational and skills development, supporting communities and individuals in achieving their potential. Dr. Felix Newman, the ambassador of the Federal Republic of Germany to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, delivered the keynote address during the ceremony, highlighting the crucial role of lifelong learning in social inclusion, economic opportunity and sustainable development.
As the Institute for International Cooperation of the German Adult Education Association, DVV International, has consistently demonstrated that lifelong learning is essential for economic opportunity, social inclusion and sustainable development. In Sri Lanka, DVV International makes an important contribution by strengthening adult education at a systemic level. By working closely with national institutions and community partners, DVV helps to create meaningful learning and livelihood pathways for youth and adults, especially for those who are not in education, employment or training. I learned it needs, right? Its pathways approach is particularly valuable. Education is not seen as a single intervention, but as a part of a longer journey by helping individuals to regain confidence, build skills and access opportunities. DVV International supports sustainable participation in economic and social life.
Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education, AJSS Edrisuriya, was also in attendance at the event as the guest of honor. The official launch of the DVV International website marked a key milestone, providing a platform to showcase its initiatives and partnerships across Sri Lanka. The ceremony concluded with a felicitation session, an open forum for partner organizations and a networking brunch for participants.
In international news, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi faced intense questioning over the handling of Jeffrey Epstein files after documents released victims' personal information while redacting many alleged abusers' names. Bondi denied wrongdoing but faced criticism from both Democrats and some Republicans.
U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi clashed repeatedly with Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee yesterday in a fiery hearing that centered on the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking scandal.
All the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million, and Donald Trump signed that law.
Over the span of 5 hours yesterday, U.S. lawmakers questioned Attorney General Pam Bondi of the U.S. Justice Department's handling of documents related to convicted late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Bondi, testifying before the House Judiciary Committee, defended the DOJ's handling of the release of the Epstein records and said there are pending investigations in the case. She testified before the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee in a hearing entitled Oversight of the U.S. Department of Justice, but the Epstein files quickly became a primary focus. Since the start of his second term, U.S. President Donald Trump and his administration have consistently faced questions about the decision to withhold or redact documents related to Epstein. The new law, called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, passed into law in November with bipartisan support. It requires the Justice Department to publish all of its documents related to Epstein in an easily searchable format. Though the law allows for some limited reduction to protect the identities of victims, critics argue that scores of documents have been published with heavy reductions. Some of those blacked out sections appear to shield the identity of powerful figures involved with Epstein. With several victims of Epstein seated behind her in the hearing room, Bondi forcefully defended the department's handling of the files related to the well-connected financier, an issue that has dodged her tenure. During her opening remarks, Bondi deemed Epstein a monster and issued an apology to the victims.
I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster. If you have any information to share with law enforcement about anyone who has hurt you or abused you, the FBI is waiting to hear from you.
At one point during the hearing, Representative Pramila Jayapal, a Democrat from Washington, asked the Epstein victims to raise their hands if they had not had a chance to meet with a member of the Justice Department. All the victims raised their hands.
To meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand.
Meanwhile, congressional Democrats accused the U.S. Attorney General of engaging in a cover-up of the Jeffrey Epstein files and turning the Department of Justice into an instrument of revenge for Trump. When pressed by Representative Jayapal, Bondi refused to turn and face the Epstein victims in the audience and apologize for what Trump's Justice Department has put them through. She accused the Democrat of theatrics.
And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level
Chairman,
apologize.
Chair now recognizes the chairman.
What you have done. I yield back.
The gentleman, you have no time to yield back. I appreciate.
The Attorney General also clashed with Ted Lieu, a Democrat from California. Lieu asked whether Trump had attended a party with underage girls, a question Bondi deemed ridiculous. Bondi insisted there was no evidence Trump had committed a crime. Lieu suggested that her answer amounted to lying under oath, noting that Trump's name appears repeatedly in the Epstein files. Bondi shot back, quote, "Don't you ever accuse me of committing a crime," end quote. Trump's name appears multiple times in the released Epstein files, but not in connection with the sexual abuse of women. Rather, the records primarily show that he and Epstein were acquainted and had a social relationship.
Nearly 127 million eligible voters headed to the polls today in Bangladesh in a key test of the country's return to democracy after a student-led uprising toppled long-time leader Sheikh Hasina in August 2024.
Bangladesh is holding its first election since student-led protests in 2024, ending the 15-year rule of its increasingly autocratic leader, Sheikh Hasina. The vote is a direct contest between the Bangladesh Nationalist Party and Jamaat-e-Islami-led coalition of 11 parties, which includes the National Citizens Party, formed by youth activists instrumental in ousting Hasina. Corruption, inflation, employment and economic development are the main issues deciding the election in the world's 8th most populous nation.
Bangladeshi people lined up in front of the polling station from the morning, and they lined up for casting their vote for the 13th national election as well as 3rd referendum. Since the morning, the atmosphere was electric. The voters flocked to their polling stations and casted votes. There were no reports of any large violences so far till 4:30 p.m. Election Commission at about 4 p.m. informed the media that casting rate in the 36,000 polling station out of 46,500, casting rate was around 47.91%.
Besides the parliamentary election, the country is holding a referendum on the National Charter 2025, a document drafted by the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus, setting the foundation for future governance. Bangladesh's interim leader Muhammad Yunus has also voted at a polling station in Dhaka. Speaking to reporters after that, the 85-year-old Nobel laureate described the election as a day of freedom. Yunus was sworn in as Chief Advisor of the interim administration in August 2024. He will step down when the next government takes over. There are 59 registered political parties in Bangladesh, excluding ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Awami League, whose registration was suspended by the Election Commission last year, nullifying its ability to field candidates in the polls. Of these, 51 parties are participating in this year's elections. In total, 1,981 candidates are contesting, including 249 independent ones. Bangladesh Nationalist Party, led by Tariq Rahman, son of recently deceased ex-Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, BNP is one of the Bangladesh's two major traditional parties and positions itself as a nationalist and conservative alternative to the Awami League. Meanwhile, Jamaat-e-Islami, the Islamist party led by Shafiqur Rahman, advocates for politics rooted in the religion's principles and has formed an electoral alliance with the National Citizen Party along with other parties.
Russia has attempted to fully block WhatsApp in the country as the Kremlin continues to tighten restrictions on messaging apps. Russia yesterday attempted to block social media platform WhatsApp and Telegram to promote its homegrown platforms and seek greater control over its internet space. Meta-owned WhatsApp said the move aims to push more than 100 million of its app users in Russia to a state-owned surveillance app. This comes after Russian regulators further curbed access to Telegram, citing a lack of security. Telegram is estimated to have as many users as WhatsApp in Russia. WhatsApp in a statement said, quote, "Trying to isolate over 100 million users from private and secure communication is a backward step and can only lead to less safety for people in Russia. We continue to do everything we can to keep users connected." End quote. Russia's communications regulator, the Roskomnadzor, has made repeated warnings to WhatsApp to comply with local law. State-owned TASS media reported earlier this year that WhatsApp is expected to be permanently blocked in the country in 2026. A Russian official said, quote-unquote, "Such harsh measures are absolutely justified since Russia has designated Meta as an extremist organization." Since Russian authorities added Meta to a list of terrorist and extremist organizations, Meta apps like Instagram and Facebook have been blocked in Russia and are only accessible through virtual private networks.
Sri Lankan captain Dasun Shanaka scored the fastest half-century in a T20 match for Sri Lanka, reaching 50 runs off just 19 deliveries. His fiery innings powered Sri Lanka to a win over Oman, placing Sri Lanka at the top of Group B points table.
In a dominant display at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium, Sri Lanka secured a convincing victory over Oman, powered by a record-breaking batting performance.
T20 internationals by a Sri Lankan batter.
Sri Lanka captain Dasun Shanaka scored his fastest half-century that included 5 sixes and 2 fours. He shared a 63-run partnership for the 4th wicket with Kusal Mendis, who scored 61 runs. With this innings, Mendis became the first Sri Lankan to surpass 2,500 runs in T20 internationals. For the 3rd wicket, Mendis and Pawan Ratnayaka added 94 runs. Ratnayaka's 60-run contribution helped Sri Lanka secure a commanding victory. Winning the toss, Oman invited Sri Lanka to bat first. Sri Lanka posted a commanding 225 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in 20 overs, the highest score put up by any team in this tournament so far. Jiten Ramanadi bagged 2 wickets for 41 runs. Chasing 226 runs for a win, Oman got off to a shaky start, losing 3 early wickets for just 36 runs. Mohammad Nadeem remained unbeaten at 53. Oman was restricted to just 120 runs for the loss of 9 wickets at the end of their allotted 20 overs. Dushmant Chamira and Mahesh Deekshana took 2 wickets each. Sri Lanka's Pawan Ratnayaka was named man of the match today.
After the first power play, Kusal and I took charge in the middle overs. We spoke briefly and decided to run a bit and target the spin bowlers. That was our normal plan. Honestly, the pitch was really good today, so we planned to score more than 200 runs and it worked exactly as we hoped. We are very happy with that. In the previous match, I did not score as I wanted, so I struggled a bit and made some mistakes. Today, the plan was to remove those errors and just play my normal game. And that's a wrap up in news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.